We'll learn now Mishnah Beis and Perek Dalet in Masechta Bava Kama. We're learning this Lilu Nishmas Levi Yitzchok, Rav Levi Yitzchok ben Chaim Tzvi, a young, dedicated, successful shliach who was taken at the prime of his life, and we're learning this to benefit his soul. Lilu Nishmosei Tei Nishmosei Tzrur B'Tzrur Chaim. Mishnah Beis. Zog the Mishnah, Shoir shehu muad liminoi, be'enei muad li she'enei minoi. If the ox was a muad, which means he gored 3 times to his species, meaning he gored 3 oxen, but he never gored 3 other enei minoi, non-oxen, he didn't gore. In order for him to become a muad, he has to do the same thing. It has to be the same thing going 3 times, being that he only gored oxen before. He would not, even though he did it 3 times, and if he gored another ox, he would have to pay a full nezek, because that would be the third or fourth time that he's doing it for his oxen. But since he gored something which was einoi mina, it wasn't his kind, so therefore he's not going to be a muad, and he's not going to have to pay a nezek sholem, only a chatzin nezek. Basically, if he did it 3 times, he has to do it 3 times exactly the same. If there is some reason to say, well, he gores oxen but doesn't gore, and the owner didn't know that, and he didn't have to watch him, he'll only pay a half a nezek. Muad le'odom ve'enei muad l'she'enei minoi ve'enei muad la'behema. So what happens if he did 3 times gored a person? And so if he would gore another person, he would be considered a muad because he's done it 3 times already. But we're not going to make him pay a nezek sholem if the 4th time he went and gores a behema. I mean, someone might argue, if the ox even gores people, which is a stronger category, for sure he can gore behema. We say no. Maybe this ox only has this for people, but he would not be considered a muad for animals, and he would not have to pay a nezek sholem for the animal, even though it's his 4th goring, but it's not the 4th goring for the behema, only for people that he gored before, he would not pay a nezek sholem. The same thing is muad lakatanim. If he is a muad for minors, which means this ox gores small calves, and that's somehow more likely for the an ox to smaller animals. He may easily gore, but ve'enei muad lagadolim, he does not become a muad if the 4th time, let's say he did 3 times, he gored small oxen, and then he goes and calves, and then he goes and gores a big ox, he's not a muad because he hasn't done 3 times big one, only katanim, and a muad lekatanim does not become a muad for gedolim, for larger animals. Muad lekatanim, says the Bartanura, la'agolim, that's cas. Now, basically, es shehu muad loi, for the one who is a muad, mishalim nezek sholem, he pays a full nezek. Beis she'enei muad loi, but the one who is not a muad for is only mishalim chatzi nezek. He'd only pay half of the damages because he was not expected to do that. He's not been established as a muad, and therefore you pay chatzi nezek. Amru lifnei Rabbi Yehuda, So the students asked Rabbi Yehuda, Amru lifnei Rabbi Yehuda Traich the Bartanura, Sholu Talmidov Mimenu. The students asked of Rabbi Yehuda, what would be the din if the animal had a shahoya muad la Shabbosis? 3 Shabboses he gored. And then the 4th time he gores on a weekday. Is he considered to be a muad? That's the 4th time. What difference does it make? Does the time of the week, that is Shabbos or the weekday, make a difference in making a muad? So they asked him, and he said yes. If 3 times he gored was a Shabbos, and we have to find a reason why he might gore on Shabbos and not on the weekday. So we know that an ox also doesn't work on Shabbos. That would be a reason for an ox to gore because he's not busy. And another reason would be maybe people are dressed on Shabbos with Shabbos clothing, so that might have incited the ox. So therefore, if he was a muad for 3 Shabboses, he would not be a muad for a weekday. Zog the Bartanura, Harashahoya muad l'Shabbosis, mipnei shu botl memalacha, because the ox is he is free and not doing any work. The daita zocha olav, so his mind is arrogant on him. He's like feels he can do whatever he wants. He's not busy doing any work. Maybe that's why he gores. So it wasn't expected for the ox to go on a weekday, which he's working, which is busy. Inami, another reason why he would gore on a Shabbos, why there would be a idea. Lefi sheroye b'nei odom v'malbushim noim shel Shabbos, since it sees people are wearing nice garments for Shabbos, chashuvim be'enov nikorim nochrim. He considers them to be strangers, not peoples that he is acquainted. Ve'ena makirim, he doesn't recognize them. So maybe he gores people that he doesn't recognize. So then when he went and gored one of those people during a weekday, we say we didn't expect that because he only gored on Shabbos. So Rabbi Yehuda answered his students that if the 3 times of the goring took place on a Shabbos, then he would not be a muad for the weekday. That's what they were asking him. But he has not gored 3 times in the weekday. So what is the halacha? Is he muad for the choil or not? Amar lahem la Shabbosis mishalim nezek sholem. For the Shabbos, he will pay a full damage because he's a muad. He gored 3 times on Shabbos. So if the 4th time he will gore on Shabbos, he will pay a full nezek, a full damages. But for the weekday, he will only pay half of the damages because he has not been doing it. He hasn't done it 3 times in the weekday. So now
here he said muad l'ktanim is not muad l'gdolim. What about is a muad l'gdolim a muad for ktanim?
Looks like yes, because it's a kol shekem. See, you have to find in each case a reason why that would be different for the ox, as the Bartanura explained with regards to Shabbos. We can't just say, just because it happened, let's say he gored 3 people on a Sunday. We're not going to say if he gores the 4th time on a Monday, he's not a muad, because there is no idea to attribute what's about Sunday that he would gore. So we have to find a svara. So a gadol with a cotton, if he was a cotton, it's easier to gore. So that's more likely for him to gore. He may have gore a cotton, but not a gadol. Now, amosai huton. So if an ox has become a muad, how does he become back a tam? Can you become back a tam after becoming a muad? So the Mishnah says, I'm not sure if this was also asked by Rabbi Yehuda, or this was just the Mishnah saying it. Probably it looks like Rabbi Yehuda, maybe they were asking him this question. So he says, that he has to go by 3 Shabbases, that he will not gore, and then he would not be a muad anymore, which means the same principle. If he didn't gore 3 weekdays, there were oxen there, he didn't gore, that wouldn't make him back into a tam. But if 3 Shabbases go by, that will make him back into a tam. Says the Bartanura, after he was warned 3 times, became a muad for Shabbos. Then they passed in front of him oxen during 3 Shabbos, and he didn't gore them. And then he goes back and becomes a tam. And therefore, and then if he goes back and gores again, he would only pay half a damage because he's back to a tam. He'd have to do again 3 times, either 3 Shabbos. If he, it seems from the Mishnah, if, for example, he gored 1 Shabbos and 2 other weekdays, then it's nothing about Shabbos, then it would still be a muad. It's only if the 3 times take place on Shabbos, which he's not a muad. What happens if he scored 2 Shabbos and 1 weekday? We have to see exactly, specifically, you can say, well, it's not something special about Shabbos because he gored in the weekday as well. Or maybe 2 out of the 3 times was on Shabbos. So that needs to be looked in further, but we'll continue weiter. Zog the Mishnah Gimel. Now, there are certain, this is really a problematic Mishnah to explain in modern times. It basically says that an ox that gores either Hegdish or a non-Jewish ox, it would be exempt. Zog the Mishnah, Shoir Shel Yisrael, Shenogach Shoir Shel Hegdish. If a ox belonging to a Jewish person gores an ox that belongs to Hegdish, or the same way, the other way around, Vishal Hegdish Shenogach L'Shoir Shel Yisrael, or an ox which belongs to Hegdish, let's say somebody donated to Bedek Habayis, or this would be for a carbon. But if the Hegdish mows and gores an ox of another Jew, so the laws of goring and payments, he'll be potter, he'll be exempt. You're not, these laws of obligations of the damages of the ox does not apply to Hegdish. Shenemar, because the pasuk says, Ki yigach ish shoir re'ehu. It says that it has to be the ox of a friend, meaning another Jew, and we learn out v'loi shoir shel Hegdish, but not a ox of Hegdish. And for that same reason, we also learn, so these laws of goring the Av Nizikin of Shoir does not apply to Hegdish, not if you gore Hegdish and not if Hegdish's ox gores you, because either way, it's not the Re'eu. What happens, Shoir Shel Yisrael Shenogach L'Shoir Shel Nochri? A Jewish-owned ox that gores an ox that belongs to a non-Jew, potter, he's potter. Now, this is a very interesting halacha. So, why is he potter? So it almost seems like the pasuk says shoreehu, but that already is used l'chayre lo shor shel hegdish. So how do we say shenach potter? The Gemara brings here a pasuk in Chabak Bakum. The Bartanura says shor shel Yisrael shenogach shor shel nochri potter. The Ksiv, it says in Habakkuk Perigimel, Omad vayimoyed aretz, ro bayatir goyim. Ro means he stood and he measured the land, and when Hashem saw, he permitted vayatir goyim the money, the damages for the goyim. It says like this. What did Hashem see? Ro. What did he see? Ro sheva mitzvah shenitztavu b'nei Noach. He saw the 7 command that the Noachites were commanded. And kivon shaloi kimo isum, since they did not fulfill them. Omad vayater goyim. Omad v'hitim memoinam li Yisrael. So he stood up and he permitted their money to the Yidden, so that if the Yid's ox goes and gores the Goyish ox, you don't have to pay damages. There's also another pasuk in Dvarim Lamed Gimel. The Bartanura brings down. It says Hoifia Mehar Porim. Har Porim was when Hashem went to give the Torah to all the nations. Hoifia means he revealed, he uncovered. Uncovered means he made it sort of hefker that the Yid doesn't have to pay it. Gilom memoinom shel oived kirchavim. Hafiyah means he revealed the money of the idol worshippers, v'hitiram, and he permitted them. That happened mehar poram. Mishosh sova v'hichzir es ha'toira oived kirchavim. That is from the time that Hashem circled and tried to give the Torah to the idol worship. They didn't accept it. That was Har Param. And therefore Efiyah. So the first one talks specifically about the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach that they didn't fulfill. This, it talks about the fact that they didn't want to accept the Torah. I guess what it really means is the Torah law cannot, by right, a person, why should I pay for my ox? I didn't know. Maybe logically, if not for the Torah saying that you have to pay for it, I did what I can, and maybe I shouldn't pay for it. So a yid that
the Rambam writes clearly. The Rambam writes clearly that they themselves are not mechayiv. The Rambam writes, since the goyim themselves, they're not mechayiv a person when his animal damages.
Okay.
So in other words, this that you said, that
so this is a chiddush. Okay, so so this is a chiddush b'chlal. An ox is a Jewish law, is a Torah law, and they don't apply. But we will apply it, the goy, to a yid. The next halacha is shel nochri, shel nogach l'shor shel Yisrael, a non-Jewish ox that gores a Jewish ox. Over there, we don't even have a distinction between tam, between muad, shalom, nezek, shalom. Whether it's a tam or a muad pays a complete nezek. Now here the logic would be similar. You can't say the logic that the Rambam that you used before, because b'dineim, I don't know. You say that b'dineim they're potter totally. No, nochri b'dineim is potter totally. But in here, the Torah is for a yid. We have to deal by the Torah law. But this logical, the Torah gives a break for a yid that follows the Torah, but a guy that doesn't follow the Torah. Yeah, what were you saying, Mati?
No, it's again to have a knas. Al Kaponim, but it's interesting. Mekahati brings that the Meiri says that this knas is only for nations that taka are not noig b'nimusim. But he says, he says, the Meiri says, Kol sheshava mitzvahs biyadam dinam etzlenu kedinenu atzlam. In other words, this is a knas, a special knas, because, like we said, that they should saw that they're being pirates. So they got a knas that they lose. But anyhow, I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Very good. You're saying?
No, I'm saying the halacha is not like the Meiri. The Rambam writes Danalam Kedineim, but that's a component. That's what the Meiri writes as well.
Very good.
Okay, Mazel Tov on the Bas Mitzvah. You'll see Mimi Eretz Hashem Shabbos.
Yeah, very good. Looking forward. Thank you. Thank you for joining.